Hey everybody, it is Thursday and this is another episode of Tisha Talks Live at 4:45. I am your host, I guess, Tisha, Tisha Marie Pelletier. And quick housekeeping, if you are joining me live, thank you so much for tuning in. Please drop a comment in the comment box, say hello, say where you're from. If you have a question, throw those in the comments as well, because I will get to those real time or in the replay. But if you've never watched this was really my idea of, hey, let's do something bold. I started this on September 1st. And every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4:45, that little time frame between finishing my day and jumping into mom family mode of getting dinner on the table and so forth is the time that I have to jump on live and just talk about a topic of the day or talk about something that's going on in my life or answer a question that I keep getting asked. So this is what I use Tisha Talks Live for. So if you have any suggestions for, hey, Tisha, I'd love for you to talk about this, by all means, do ask. I do listen to those comments and suggestions so that I can use that for some content in the future. But today I want to go into this. Some of you have probably seen the Lewis Carroll from Alice in the Wonderland, the quote that says, if you don't know where you're going, then any road will get you there. If you don't know where you're going, then any road will get you there. And I want to start off with just a little funny story. So yesterday I took off Tisha Talks Live. I did not show up. Actually, I gave you guys that heads up on Tuesday that my son is on fall break. My daughter had early release yesterday, and we ended up at the Fall Festival. And we go every single year to Bertuccio Farms. If you're in the Gilbert, Mesa, Arizona area, Bertuccio Farms, great place. Angela Bertuccio is the owner. And every year, they always have this incredible corn maze. And we always venture in, and every time I kind of feel a little bit of that anxiety. Like I look at the map right before we go in and I'm like, okay, we can do this. And in the corn maze, there are spots to stop. There's like a whole scavenger hunt where you can take your little handout and it's a little game and you get points and so on. And every time I go, I'm a little directionally challenged. I always feel a little bit anxiety. If you've ever been through a corn maze, maybe you're that same type of person where you're like, this is a little nutty, just going through this whole thing. I know I get that way. So my family and I are going through the corn maze, and there are six little spots where we need to go and scratch off our little scavenger hunt. And I'm just going to say this, out of 6, we made it to 3 because we got so lost in the corn maze that we just zigzagged. We went in circles. We're like, isn't this the path we were just on? Isn't this the circle we just were on? And lo and behold, yes, it was. And so we didn't even make it through the whole corn maze before we're like, let's just get out of here. Let's just get out of here. And it really brought up this whole, if you don't know where you're going, then any road will get you there. Well, any road will take us to the end. And that's where we found ourselves after this corn maze. And we're like, okay, next attraction, no more corn mazes. We've done our time for the year. We did the corn maze, bucket list checked off. So I want to bring that up. Is that good or bad thinking about just going in without a plan? Because a lot of us are like, I like flying by the seat of my pants. Some of you guys don't know this. Sometimes on these Tisha Talks Live, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. And it's I don't know, is that a good plan or is that a bad plan? I think it's always good if you have an idea of what you're doing, where you want to go, and you look at the bigger picture to have that vision and that plan in place, and then you start to back it out. So in regards to this corn maze, they did have a massive map. And my only fault was not taking a picture of the map so that we could follow the map to get to all of these scavenger hunt receptacles. We didn't have that. I kind of just went by memory. And of course, my memory didn't serve me correctly when I'm directionally challenged and can't make it through this corn maze. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think about that? Should you always have a plan, or should you let the cards kind of lay where they land? And I'm kind of a person of both thinking, of the two ways of thinking here, because I absolutely think having a plan. Yes, 100% have a plan, go with the plan. But I'm also that type of person that can say that sometimes the plan is not going to work out. Sometimes it's not. If you have read my first book in when the universe throws a curveball, I share very publicly that coming out of college, I knew I wanted to get married. I wanted to have 2 kids by the age of 35. I wanted to have my career set. I wanted all of these things. And I started a business 10 years earlier than I thought I would. I wanted to start a business when I was 35, and instead it came very early at the age of 24. I kicked off, simply put, marketing. And then I was like, yes, this is a plan. I'm going to have my baby. I'm going to go ahead and be settled and established. And then what happened? 2008, the economy crashed, and I had a marketing company. So a lot of clients left, clients that had been around since the 1950s that I was working for. And I found my plan in the dumps. A lot like what's going on now. Sometimes we create this plan and it doesn't go accordingly. I'm going to check some comments because it looks like we've got some people tuning in on Facebook as well as on LinkedIn. Hey, yeah, Dan Dominguez, good to see you. Linda, yes, it varies. The map definitely would have helped. Yes, Linda's talking about how we were in a corn maze yesterday getting lost, which I get a lot of anxiety and I'm a little frustrated because we're going in circles. This is not fun. A map definitely helps. When you know where you're going, it makes it easier to get there. But just as Linda had mentioned here, we need to also be flexible. We also need to understand that things might deter or change our plan as well. And how do we get back up and how do we keep moving forward? Now, I don't think this would have been very adult of me to just sit down in the corn maze and start crying because I don't know how to get out of there. You have to keep moving. You have to keep moving and figuring it out, right? We can't stay there forever. The park closed at 9. So let me look at some of these comments. Yes, I like this, Dan. It's good to be comfortable with no plan, but it's good to have a plan. Yeah, and this is the reason why I'm asking this, because so many of us will say, always have a plan. As I've shared, sometimes your plan is not the plan that God intended. Sometimes it's not going to be the plan that you stay on. Case in point, how many of us have switched job careers? How many of us started with something and now we're on a completely different path? I'm going to share the story of my cousin who started out in social work, then went to work for a mortgage, and now totally changed the trajectory of his life and is now a dentist in Seattle. So did he have a plan to become a dentist? Not when he started, but life evolves and we move and we change with the seasons, and that's how we start to find what we really like to do. All right. Yes, Mike, thank you so much. Mike always tuning in every single Tisha Talks Live. I'm just tuning in, but found you. Thanks, Mike. I missed your live segment. Happy Thursday. Great job as always. Thanks, Mike. Talking about my corn maze fiasco yesterday at the fall festival that I ditched my Tisha Talks Live for and went with my family and got lost in the corn maze because we didn't really have a plan. We just went in venturing and couldn't figure out how to get out. And we just kept running in circles, which I know it can be frustrating. So I'm really loving this conversation. And thanks to the people tuning in about whether it's good or bad to have a plan. And I think we can all agree that sometimes we've got one and sometimes we don't. And even if we don't, we will end up where we're supposed to be. That's my thinking. You will get to where you're going. I know a lot of people have asked me personally, what's the biggest recommendation if they're going through college or if they're that college age or maybe they're even older. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie, but I really love the movie with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro called The Intern. How many of you guys have seen that that's tuning in? I love that movie. And I love it for a couple of reasons. One, I totally feel like I could be Anne Hathaway in that movie. She's had a lot of struggles. I love that she wants to be in the trenches so much of her business, but they keep putting her in the CEO, president role. And she's like, it's not really me. She really loves the day-to-day. And here's De Niro, who is her intern. I've always said that to people, that if you can't figure out what it is that you want to do exactly in life, it's okay to try new things. And I think like internships or getting that volunteer experience and finding out if it's a path that you want to pursue is always, always a good time investment to figure out where you want to go and what that plan will take you on. So yes, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so that's the question that I want to pose today. If you guys have any questions or suggestions of, hey, Tisha, I'd love for you to dive into this topic, or if you have any guests that you think that I should interview on Tisha Talks Live, drop me a comment or send me a direct message on any of these platforms on Facebook or on LinkedIn, and I'd love to connect with you. So you can find me at tishaMarie.com. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today to Tisha Talks Live and just having some fun with me. I love that quote. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there, from Lewis Carroll, and talking today about whether it's good or bad to have a plan. I think we've all agreed that it's a good and bad thing. Like, it's good to have a plan, but it's also okay to let your plan just figure it out itself out. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. I'll see you back next Tuesday for another Tisha Talks Live at 4:45. Bye, guys.